A24 has been having a pretty interesting year in my book. You have them releasing films like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and then you have Whatever the Hell Men Was.
What the is going on?
Now, we've got Bodies, 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 A24's newest film that, thank God, isn't anything like Men. This film was directed by Helena Ryjan and stars Amanda Stenberg, Maria Bakalova, Rachel Sonnet, Chase Sue Wonders, myha'la Harold, Lee Pace, and Pete Davidson as a group of friends suddenly finding themselves being picked off one by one by an unknown killer who might just be one of them. Lately, we've been getting some really good and different murder mysteries like Knives Out and Werewolves Within, and then you still get your standard ones like Death on the Nile. It's tricky these days to create a murder mystery that stands out from the crowd and can be called its own, so to see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies do this with ease is amazing to behold. This film is hilarious, has genuinely intriguing mystery with an answer you'll never see coming, and all star cast just bringing their A game. Going into this, I didn't really know what to expect, and I think that's the best way to go about this. There won't be any spoilers here, so no need to worry about that. For me, if a murder mystery doesn't have an intriguing story at its core, then it's hard for me to get invested in the mystery. This film is interesting on that aspect because the story itself is quite simple, but the relationships between the characters is anything but. From the get-go, you can tell there's tension between the group, with everyone being subtly against one another for various different reasons. As the night progresses, those feelings of mistrust turn into accusations against everyone, and it becomes much more challenging and difficult to figure out who the killer is. This is the secret weapon of this film. While each of these characters' personalities are distinct, it's the mystery of their relationships with one another and how they feel about each other that makes this mystery work so well. Also, tapping into Gen Z culture and satirizing how we view each other through the lens of what we're worth, toxicity, and empowerment, the film becomes a very funny satire as well as a good murder mystery. Every performance here is fantastic, with Lee Pace just being an amazing scene stealer. To have each of these characters be at each other's throats through most of this, accusing one another of something shameful they did in their past or just straight up murder, it makes it a difficult challenge to find one and be like, they're the good one, I like them, which I think was the ultimate goal of the film. Ryjan wants the audience to feel like we're right there alongside the characters, and by the end we have no idea who to trust or latch ourselves onto, which isn't an easy task for a murder mystery to do. If there's any complaints I have against this film, it's its visual presentation. While the cinematography of this is well composed, most of the film takes place in the dark, with a flashlight usually being the only source of light. While that's a good idea, too often is the camera shaking around with little light to show us who's who and where we are that the film can become disorienting, and not in a good way. Had the camera been more stable with less extreme close-ups, then I don't think I'd be complaining about it that much. To avoid getting into many major spoilers, I'm going to try to cut this review short. So overall, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was a genuine surprise and one of the few murder mysteries that genuinely surprised me at the end as to who the killer was. If you're a fan of murder mysteries with sharp commentary and a great cast, then you're easily going to like this one. I'm going to give Bodies, Bodies, Bodies an 8 out of 10.